From the New Republic, oh, this is my favorite headline. 4 Democrats pass bill making it harder for married women to vote. Would anyone like to take a crack at what the story actually is?
It's about voter ID because the last name, if you change your last name, they say that it makes it more difficult to vote.
This is how Democrats convey information to people.
Yeah.
And this is, so this is about the SAVE Act, that you need proof of citizenship to vote. That's it. If you want to vote and you're registering to vote, you got to prove you're a citizen. You can do that in a variety of ways.
Which sucks for me.
Good.
Well, because I'm not a citizen, and I look forward to voting in every election.
That's unfortunate for you.
This is the problem we have in this country with the decentralization of media. There is an audience for this, and they are now sitting there going, "But what? They don't want women to vote?" And they're going to believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is like makes
The
me
Democrats don't want women to vote?
Yep.
Like, because this is like actually kind of skewering the Democrats here.
That's
Indeed.
because that's because the Democrats allowed the bill to pass.
Yeah.
They stepped out of line.
They stepped out of line.
But so then there's all these Democrats who are like, yeah,
Now,
the
again,
Democrats don't want women to vote?
This topic in the United States is one of those 80-20 topics. Yeah. Americans, by vast majorities, say we want to make sure that only American citizens are voting. But yet,
Totally reasonable.
The media, and not only is it reasonable, it's something that's basically ubiquitous worldwide, except for in the United States. But the media is twisting it so that you can't even say that this is trying to inform people. This is pure propaganda, and it's counter to what the American people want. Every single poll they do, it turns out 75%, 80%, 70%. They all say we want to have voter ID, some kind of voter ID.
So is it a lock? You need voter ID to vote now?
Not yet. I don't know if this is the.
I'm trying to find anywhere in the article where it actually says women can't vote, but it doesn't. It literally does not.
The argument is
lying.
that because if you're a woman and you're married, you change your last name, there'll be a discrepancy on your birth certificate compared to what your ID says, and that might disappear.
Do you need 2 forms of ID? Like your ID's not enough?
No.
Look at this. It says some claim that requiring proof of citizenship is too onerous a burden, or that it will disenfranchise those whose names have changed for reasons like marriage.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to enter into a contract and they go, "Ma'am, that's not your real name.
Yeah.
Sorry."
I can see them if also with like mail-in voting, if they're like, we're going to make you vote in person, they're making it more difficult for people to vote.
Well, that's exactly.
I mean, there are some like infirm people who like probably cannot physically vote who should be allowed to. But yeah, obviously, if you can vote, like you should.
Infirm.
I guess if there's a medical reason that they can't get to the poll.
Yeah, there's like imagine you're like an elderly person and you're like, I don't know, it's really.
I'm open to that.
Yeah. Well, but this is nonsense. And here's the thing: I say this is nonsense. I'm actually not in favor of women voting. Period.
There you go.
And I'm still this is nonsense.
If we could we could find some way to disenfranchise women, it would be a good start.
All right,
because we need more than just women.
I'm the woman in here, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
I think
going
to
be the woman for this conversation, guys.
I think that there should be a lawsuit. It is absurd to me that women have the right to vote, but can't be conscripted.
Yeah.
Agreed. Equal rights, equal responsibilities. Conscription doesn't mean we want women on the front line. It means they can be working in offices or doing something. But the idea, the scenario this creates is that women can vote for war knowing they have no responsibility for it.
What about women with no kids could be drafted?
Nope. Men have kids too.
Yeah, but men don't have to
do what?
feed
The reason,
kids.
listen, the reason that the draft exists.
I mean, honestly, the women with kids are probably a little hardened compared to the ones.
They're tougher.
The ones with no kids, you're like, what are you going to do?
Take care of the cats? The draft exists, right? The reason the draft exists is because they need infantrymen. Well, what about that's the vast majority of people that get drafted? They're just rifle. They get put in the position of rifle.
Stand in front.
The World War II draft. I'm pretty sure there
was very little draft in World War II because dudes were signing up.
Yeah, everybody was like geared.
Yeah, they were like, let's go.
Everybody was like 12-year-olds were like lying and saying they were 18.
No, women stayed home because they went into the jobs that the men left.
Right, the industrial sector, like Rosie the Riveter is a famous picture of that woman making a pump in her arm, and because it was all factory workers, but they weren't. You're saying they weren't drafted into the factory; they just filled the void.
It was the wartime effort.
Exactly.
You know, have you ever seen that video of the Vietnam draft that was on TV? They like televised it like a game show. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Really?
Literally, you can look at it. It's on YouTube. Literally, it looks like a game show. It's from like the 60s, and they
the
they
draft
call
lottery.
everybody's number.
draft
Everybody had a
lottery.
number based on birthday.
draft lottery.
And if you were first, you were going right.
This is
This
Vietnam.
A live
This is
report on tonight's picking of the birth
Dude.
dates for the draft. Here at Selective Service Headquarters in Washington is CBS News correspondent Roger Mudd.
Roger Mudd.
Good evening.
Let's just jump
it was
ahead.
29 years, barring deferments. The next birthday in order, April 24th. And so on down the line this evening.
So wait, how did it work?
So if you were the first birthday, you were like, you're going like right
but,
away.
but like everybody with that birthday?
they pulled, yeah,
It was all the 18-year-olds first, and then they did all the
Yeah,
19-year-olds
but-
with the birthday, and then all the 20-year-olds with the birthday.
But like if
I
you
think
were the
that's how it worked, or something
365th
like that.
birthday, yeah, like obviously if you're in college, but if you
But
were
what I mean,
eligible-
like when you went to basic training on the draft, everybody had the same birthday?
I guess your group probably. I could be wrong about this, but
crazy
I don't know if it was by age. I think it was just if you're that birthday, you're the first up.
I'd love to have it. Was so basically say
Dude, imagine the dread if you're watching this and you don't want to go and they just call your
in
birthday.
Canada, they were joining the Navy.
Call your birthday.
People were saying they were gay to get out of the military back then.
That works.
That's the thing. The reason that people were doing things like joining the Navy or trying to flee is because they knew that you get drafted and you go into the infantry.
Yeah.
In
You go into the meat
meat
grinder.
grinder jungle into Cambodia.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Soul till they
Someone's
come at
getting
night.
picked.
Cambodia was secret stuff.
There were some dudes in Cambodia.
Yeah, but they were secret.
Anybody's birthday called yet?
April 24th.
You didn't get drafted.
Anybody here's birthday called yet?
Nope.
April 24 is 002.
And like if you know somebody with that.
So these are individual people?
No, what'll happen is they
It's
call
if
a
you're
date,
if you're eligible to be drafted, which was I guess what all American men of
18 to 25.
of a certain age.
I
And
believe
then
it was 18.
if you were slot number 1, you guys are like the next up.
It was all the 18-year-olds slot number 1. Then they go to slot number 2, and it was all the 18-year-olds from slot number 2 birthday. Then all the 18-year-olds from slot number 3 birthday. Then when they were all done, they'd go back and be all the 19-year-olds from slot number 1, all the 19-year-olds from
Yeah.
slot.
They would re-pick a birthday for slot number 1 again?
They just keep, as far as I know, it was the same order. And then it would be, they'd go down the list again for all the 19-year-olds.
I mean, if that's the
they'd go down
case,
list
then
for all the
if you're an
20-year-olds.
18-year-old, you're like, oh my god.
Will be drafted.
Brutal.
So for number
The fact that they,
35,
I mean, I guess they had to
May
televise
7th,
it back then, but
August 24th.
And I could be
what a way to.
11th,
Yeah, I didn't know if it was
December
by
11th,
18.
May 13th, December
I think they took the 18-year-olds
July
first.
13th, December 9th.
They took.
August
Like, what a way to look at
16th,
that.
August
Isn't that
2nd,
crazy though?
November 11th,
Just to be watching this with your
November 27th,
family.
August.
Would you guys, if you got drafted, would you go?
To Nam, I would have fled. If I knew what they knew, what we know now, I
didn't.
never would have went
Well,
into that
you didn't
jungle.
know that.
I mean, I would have tried to avoid it.
I mean,
You know why the draft?
I knew by like
You
67.
know why they got rid of the draft?
No, why?
It doesn't work.
Oh.
When they, it might work for something like your homeland is under attack, but one of the reasons I can't remember. We actually had someone on the show who was telling us about this. When they sent the troops, the conscripts to Vietnam, they would fire above the tree line and intentionally miss the Vietnamese because they didn't want to kill people.
Yeah.
Because it was like a bunch of scared young men who weren't trained and didn't know how to fight. They had to change the way they were training people, and they realized like you need people to choose. And so I was talking to, I can't remember what time, this was a long time ago, I think a politician, that they decided economics would be the vector by which they bolster the military by money.
Yeah.
They were like, bad economic conditions are good for wartime efforts. So they control the Fed, they control the interest rates, put people in a bind, crank up unemployment, offer them good jobs, and you will fill up your military.
That's like what's going on in Canada right now.
Is that what they're doing?
Well, the unemployment rate's pretty high. It's 7% in Canada right now. And,
Drafting people?
I mean, there is it's not a lot, but there is some Canadians who are like, yeah, if Trump tries to come in here, like, and you go, with what guns?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but like the view of Canadians is like, in America, you've got SEAL Team 6, you know, like a helicopter flies in the middle of the night, a bunch of dudes in night vision goggles jump down. And then Canadians are like sitting there riding a moose around drinking maple syrup.
I mean, the Canadians actually did do pretty well in Afghanistan.
and in World War II.
In World War II, but I'm
the
saying
third
recent-
largest
Is it,
Navy, I
is
think,
it true you guys carry a hip flask of maple syrup?
No, I'm not a big maple
yeah,
syrup.
that, you get that was the IVs. If you get shot, they put the IV in.
You put it
maple
you put it on topically on the wound.
Yeah, like honey.
topping.
Yeah, just kind of.
That might actually work.
like the stuff that they put on a boxer.
If
when
you're
they get
like
cut
if you're
open,
if you're in the military, you know that the solution is Motrin and fresh socks.
You wanna know something
no matter
crazy?
what happens. Whereas in Canada, the solution is rub some maple.
You want to know how
syrup on it.
bad the military situation is in Canada?
Sure.
So they're okay. in the United States, the United States has what, like 350 to 400 million people, depending on. There's 90,000 IRS agents in the United States for 350 million people. In Canada, the Canada Revenue Agency, which is the equivalent, there are 60,000 Canada Revenue agents for 40 million people, and there are 60,000 people in the military.
Wow. Looks like the bigger threat is tax fraud.
Yeah, but like we have 60,000. The U.S. has 90,000 and a population of almost 10x.
I just want to stress, it says not to put maple syrup on a wound.
There's a lot of sugar in it.
I don't appreciate these anti-Canadian stats.
Sugar and water, so it will feed and grow bacteria. Whereas, whereas honey has no water in it and is just glucose, so it suffocates and dehydrates.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It says medical grade Manuka honey has methyl glyoxal, which kills bacteria.
Yeah, it's pro-bee propaganda.
Pro-bee propaganda right here. Anti-Canadian pro-bee.
Well, the Canadians have a strategic maple reserve. That's true.
I mean, there was a crazy maple heist. Maple heist, yeah.
What happened?
like something, I don't know, $30 million worth of maple syrup was stolen.
Oh, snap.
What are you doing with all that maple syrup?
Sell it on the black market, baby.
Sure. To who? Pancake?
Probably Americans. Probably
breakfast joints.
Comes down in like a tanker, and they go, "Oh, it's just oil."
You think we got Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire.
Do you think that the Canadian military is just small because the United States has been basically?
That's a part of it. They don't fund it. They're very demoralized. Like for my call-in show, I've had, because I talk about the whole Canada thing a lot, like what's going on, and I've had at least 6 active members of the Canadian military who are like, yeah, we already have our white flags ready if anything goes down, because we're not fighting for this.
Yeah, it sounds like there's not much.
Very demoralized. I mean, they were like, their priorities the last 10 years under Trudeau was like making sure that the Canadian military had tampons in the men's bathroom.
Dude, what is
they have like
going
three
on?
rusted. They have like 3 rusted out submarines. Like they have no infrastructure.
And then Poliev comes in and he's like, "I'll give you hope," and people are like, "Yeah, but we're scared of Trump, so we're going to vote for the other guy."
Yeah, I mean, he's done. Like right now in the betting markets, Mark Carney's close to 80%.
I hear he's like we're like an uninformed dude. I don't know a lot about.
Well, he was the head of the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada. He did a pretty bad job with the Bank of England. He did an okay job in the Bank of Canada.
You know, in bed with the Chinese too. I hear
World Economic Forum guy.
Yeah.
You know what's actually pretty fascinating is that as insane as everything is right now politically, people are totally numb.
Yeah.
Completely numb to what's
Fog of
going on.
war.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.